everybody. I'm Kelly Ellers.
I'm Jeffrey Lennon.
And this is Volume Up by the Tease. So there's this Dutch startup, as the Washington Post denoted, an article entitled, "This unexpected material might be in your next sweater. And are you ready for it?" Our industry throws out roughly 32 tons of hair per day, according to Green Circle Salons. And this is just in the US and Canada. Sophia Collar in 2021 launched a startup because she was curious and bothered by this. The startup is called Human Material Loop, and it basically takes swept hair off the floors of salons and barbershop, turns it into fabric for curtains, clothes, carpets, furniture as a way to recycle hair. And if you all could see Jeff's face right now, this is like akin to the word slugging for him, I think. He's very bothered.
This is the worst thing that I could imagine.
Okay, but it gets better. Hair is so common that we forget about how remarkable it is. In fact, did you know that one head of hair, this is going to blow your mind, could suspend 2 elephants in the air? It holds heat, sheds water, and traps oil. And when bent, can stretch up to 70% of its length without breaking. I can't. This is too much. 2 elephants, 1 head of hair. I need some Guinness Book of World Records. I was going to say,
I want to see.
I want to see it.
We need a fact checker for that one. Like, what kind of head of hair?
It's the Washington Post. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be checkers. I mean, think about it. The Greek and Roman soldiers used to braid hair into ropes for catapults. So is that akin to the elephant suspended?
Maybe.
Anyway, I just want to say kudos to Color. She's cracked the problem of turning these locks into something, turning it into yarn. So we can use it in some sort of fabric. She did say in like her Instagram, some of the posts were like, yeah, people love the design. And then I say, eek, it's from human hair. And they're like, no.
I'm so uncomfortable. Would you wear something made from human hair? I'm fine with wearing hair as hair. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I am wearing hair as hair.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get 0 icks from that. But the idea of like it being repurposed and like woven,
it might be too much. It might be too. But in my rug, I feel like maybe that's okay. Like I'm saving one of those. I guess tons.
If I didn't have any understanding that it was, then I'd probably be like, sure, fine. It's the environmentally responsible thing to. It's that first hurdle. Like you.
Yeah, that was a big one. It was a big shocker for you.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about this on the pod before. Obviously, there was a lot of flutter online, people chit-chatting about the brand. Sacred, Beyonce's line, has officially dropped. And not only do we know more details about the range and the product offerings, but there's quite a charitable component to this brand coming to market, which is exciting. So Kelly, what's your take on this? What are the deets? What do we need to know?
I mean, we've been waiting for it, right? It's been teasing. Oh, no pun intended. Oh, wow. Okay. For quite some time. And I love it. I love the packaging. I love the branding. Good. I love everything behind it. And of course, Beyonce. I especially admire the charitable component, as you mentioned. So her Bay Good Fund will award 25 scholarships of $10,000 each to a cosmetology student in a major market, Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, LA, and New Jersey. And I just think that is such a statement because, here at the Tease, as we said, we're kind of a broken record. We want to elevate the profession, right? And so everyone from your guidance counselor to your grandfather knows that this is a viable career. And I love that Beyonce's putting literal some dollars behind that effort too.
So important. And then not only is she doing that $250,000 investment, there is another for the Salon Business Grant Program, which is crazy. So, I mean, we talked about this. The brand comes from the fact that Beyonce's mom was a hairstylist and salon owner. And here she is with this brand coming to market, supporting small businesses, which is incredible. So the students, small businesses that might be struggling, again, same sort of deadline. All of this information is on the tease.com, gang. So, I mean, get into it. If you're interested in applying, as you should, because why not? It's free money, and it's Beyonce, so there's that connection. You can do it. It's on the Tease. All of the links are there. Well, in the spirit of keeping things charitable, we're going to just dive into our next segment, which is called Lend a Brush. Also, I'm a little bit under the weather sounding. I feel fine, but my voice is gone. I went on a trip to a an amusement park. We'll
The
leave it at
most
that. But
magical land of all.
don't you give
No,
it the where
okay,
they're not
sorry,
sponsoring this
sorry.
podcast. They certainly could. So they're not getting anything from us. So my voice is gone. But in the spirit of things that are charitable, our segment Lend a Brush. This week's guest is, of course, Patty Cuts. But before he joined us for the interview, we asked the audience out there on all of our various social channels if they had some questions. And wouldn't you know, there was quite a lot in the way of interest, let's just say. People wanting to know all about him, his background, what he's been up to, in addition to his very famous clientele. And here we are with a question.
All right. So, Trent from our audience wants to know, how old were you when you first learned to cut hair?
Oh, that's a great question. Learned how to cut or tried it
Or
out?
did?
Yeah. But I was about 12 years old. I remember I had clippers in, one of the closets. They were
Yeah.
Walmart clippers, and I just started like fading myself with them and using one of those big razors, a razor
Oof.
to
Yeah.
do the lineup. And that's
Oh.
how I just remember that's how it all started. Like 12 years old, I had one of those three-sided mirrors where
Yes.
the sides pop out, and
Mhm.
yeah, it all started from there. So about, I would say 12 years old when I actually, probably about 15 or 16 when I learned, I
Okay.
started, getting somewhat comfortable doing fades.
So I think the most shocking revelation in our Lend a Brush segment was that he used a big razor to do the edges. And, I guess you use what you've got, but Patty, you've come a long way, man.
If you want to lend a brush, you should do it. Send us your burning questions for celebrity stylists, brand educators, ambassadors, or C suite members, and we will work to get those answered by someone that we trust who can lend a brush. Send in your questions via email to volumeup@thetease.com.
So we just got a bit of a sneak peek into our conversation already. This week, we are talking with Patrick Regan. Pat, widely known as Patty Cuts, is a renowned figure in the world of barbering, celebrated for his exceptional skills, creativity, and influential contributions to the industry. Pat has earned a stellar reputation for his mastery of the craft, specializing in the art of precision fades. With an extensive career, Pat has cultivated a diverse clientele, including celebrities, athletes, and influencers who seek his expertise for their signature looks. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease, and send in questions to volumeup@thetease.com.
Now let's talk beauty news. Our editorial team is deep diving to get you the inside scoop from trending celebrity looks to the newest products and the biggest events happening week to week. Let's talk hair, beauty, culture. First up, from our friends at the Multicultural Beauty Insider, the growing demand for natural hair products in salons. According to market research firm Mintel, 40% of Black women are most likely to wear their hair natural, with no chemical straighteners, without heat styling, and 33% wear their natural hair heat styled. The passage of the state of New York's new law requires cosmetology schools to include textured hair care in their curriculum. Finally, students, regardless of race, will learn the science, maintenance, and styling processes for natural afro hair. This presents a prime opportunity for brands that are already marketing products to consumers in the mass market to create new formulas or elevate existing formulations for professional use. Professional products to maintain and style naturally curly and coily afro texture hair are significantly limited. Many stylists with natural hair clientele have relied on the trial and error of over-the-counter products to effectively detangle, moisturize, define, and perfect curls, twists, coils, rod sets, bantu knots, braids, and other protective natural hairstyles. The win here is obvious. More salon products for textured hair represents another channel for brands to develop, help stylists and salons expand their clientele, and gives the natural hair community confidence that they can visit an educated professional who knows how to manage and style their hair texture. More over on thetease.com. Kelly, how do you think that we're going to see brands responding to this demand? It's really nicely laid out in the piece that there might be some danger that brands who have always catered to natural and textured hair lose out. So I'm curious, what's your take here?
I love the brands that are tried and true that have been out there focusing on this market segment from the get-go, and I wish them the utmost success. Do I think that the big brands will also jump into the category? Yes. So overall, a win for both being involved, right? Because it rises up the category in general. But I'm going to be rooting for my indies that have been around for the whole time. All right, next up, in the world of hair extensions, few names are more revered than that of Priscilla Valles. With more than 2 decades of experience working in the industry, she is the unrivaled queen of celebrity hair extensions, and for good reason. Her talent is unparalleled when it comes to creating and installing flawless, natural-looking extensions. The enviable manes of her A-list client roster, from Kim and Khloe Kardashian to Kendall and Kylie Jenner, Christina Aguilera, Megan Fox, and Dua Lipa, serve as proof when it comes to her expertise. From the covers of the biggest fashion magazines to the red carpet and even the performance stages, her artistry truly knows no bounds when it comes to showcasing the true magic of extensions. In recent years, she's lended her influence and rarefied touch to elevating extensions in the industry through the launch of her own extension line with Glam Seamless, as well as her countless masterclasses for up-and-coming stylists. Our team had the pleasure of chatting with her about her incredible career and working as a celebrity hair extensionist, as well as her thoughts on the evolution of extensions in Hollywood. Head to the article at thetease.com as she discusses landing her first big break, what she considers to be the Rolls Royce of hair extensions, her partnership with Glam Seamless, and the one and only celebrity she hopes to work with next, and so much more. All right, Jeff, one of the things that Priscilla credits her big break to was working with Christina Aguilera. And she was an assistant at the time, but then Christina called back and said, hey, I would like Priscilla to...
Dream call.
Oh, yeah. I would like Priscilla to work on my hair. And she really credits a lot of that to her quote unquote bedside manner and really reading the client. Is it a quiet appointment? Is it not? What level of privacy do I have? So my question is, how important is that bedside manner, if you will, for you when you're selecting a barber?
Oh, I mean, I think it's everything. I loved this part of the interview. So shout out to Priscilla for this being part of her sort of acumen. I think, it's so important to read a room. And she talks a lot about, this is something that new stylists need to sort of figure out,
Right.
and that it can only benefit them. I, sometimes want to talk and sometimes I don't. And I go to someone who can sort of pick up on the vibe. If I only have a couple of minutes and I gotta cram in a haircut and get to my next thing, we're not going to be chatting forever. But sometimes you can. So yeah, I'm all about it. I think this was so well put.
Yeah. And, I love if you have a new even service, whether it's a massage, facial, whatever it might be. Sometimes they have on a form or your intake form, do you want this to be like a quiet appointment? Do you want music playing? And
So
I
smart.
love that because then there's no awkwardness of like, dude, I'm on my laptop, like I'm trying to get something
Right,
done.
Yep. Yep.
Or like I'm just not in the mood. I just need a minute. So I like that too, that transparency.
Absolutely. All about it. Thank you so much to our wonderful editors for this week's beauty news. And don't forget to check out more stories on thetease.com.
Be sure to hit subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease, and send in questions to volumeup@thetease.com.
Volume Up is a Tease media production. This episode was produced by Monica Hickey and Madeline Hickey. Brian Daly is our editor and audio engineer. Thank you to our creative team for the custom Volume Up theme song and for putting together the graphics for this episode.